Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, I'm going to try something so out of the box and so not me, because if you know, you know, I'm not a really big reader, but I'm actually going to do a review from an audiobook that I just got through listening to called The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. So, first I have to say, I listened to the audiobook. I can't read well. I don't have patience. My dyslexia is horrible. And so the audiobook is where I'm coming from here. And also remember, since this is the first time I'm doing this, I'm not coming at this, obviously, as a professional reviewer. I'm just going to align a few things that I found about the book that I enjoyed. And that also because of the fact that he spent his life in the music industry, I spent my life in the music industry. There was already an alignment creatively that I was able to latch onto, as well as, hear some of these philosophical angles he was coming at. Now, just in case you don't know who Rick Rubin is probably one of the most creative, successful music producers in the last 45 some odd years. I think he's around my age, mid-early 60s. He has the bands and the artists that he's produced are just absolutely mind-numbing. Don't have to go into that. You can look that up yourself. I always did find him kind of intriguing in the sense that he always walked around barefooted and he had this kind of Eastern philosophical vibe about him and stuff, and how he, approached things just on like podcasts and stuff. So I decided I was going to check out the book. And so I did. And I have to say, it's almost about 6 hours. To the most basic, the tone of his voice and how he speaks is very like, oh, all right. Whew. Kind of puts you in a zone. Maybe that's part of what makes him such, the revered producer that he is for these artists that he's worked for and the success he's had. Because that's the producer's job, is to formulate and make things kind of flow in a way where, the producer gets what they need to present to A&R. Well, that's the old ways of doing it. I don't know how they do it now. But as I listened to this book, the first thing I realized is that Rick really pulls quite a bit of Eastern influence, wisdom, sayings and stuff like that. I'm not really steeped at all in the isms of the Eastern influences. So I don't know if it's Yoganazi. Yep. Forgive me. I don't know. I'm ignorant about that. As far as the kind of language that's used, or if there's Buddhism involved in there. But where it really impacted me was because even though we're never met each other, two different parts of the music industry, both of us have been very busy, let's just say that. He made more of the money, I made more of the music, creatively, let's say, per se, as far as a composer. But walking that same walk, one thing that I was able to really get into with this book is watching how my father, my uncle, in their creative, because you guys know the family thing, right? I'm kind of like the black horse of the family music. I don't want to say dynasty. I guess maybe I've heard some people say that. Links will be down below if you want to check that out. You can check that out. Watching my dad, my uncle, and all these intense musicians and producers and stuff go through what they went through. And then what I started doing to myself that built me up to put very big limitations on my creative life. Albeit, I have been very fortunate to be successful, and that word successful to me means just being able to get to the next day feeling good about what I've done, not palaces on top of hills and boats and stuff. Just, wow, I'm still here, I'm still doing it, successful. But I did put a lot of limitations on me because of certain things that happened, blah, 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 blah. So I'm listening to the book, and we get into a chapter where he starts talking about things where I start to feel a little hole in my chest. Like, I think what's really unique, I've read for like 4 audiobooks already. And I think what is unique in the experience of reading these kinds of books, meaning, I'm not psychological, what do you call them? Self-help, motivational type, what are we all about kind of vibe. That I started feeling like, oh my God, I do that to myself. where I'm able to lock into the words and go, oh my, I've done that. And then all of a sudden you feel a little sense of like, okay, it wasn't just me. There are other people out there who have, and throughout the book, Rick talks about the different ways that he may have approached different artists or bands. He never mentioned bands. He doesn't shoot any fireworks in the sky about names. I think that's one of the more enjoyable parts of the book that I really dug, is that he did not do any name dropping whatsoever. So whenever he said an artist or a band, for myself, knowing what he's accomplished, you try to think, I wonder if was that System of a Down? Was that, yada, yada, yada. But he was very, as a matter of fact, and staying more connected to the messaging of spiritually hucking out that fur ball, kind of like a spiritual Heimlich maneuver, and just getting out that fur ball that might be stuck, and that fur ball is what it is, that it's self-made. Things that you might put in your way. So that was a really big epiphany for me, and also an awakening. There were other things in there that were also along the lines of creativity for why, which has been my biggest sticking point for my life right now. It's like, I'm in my mid-60s. I'll write whatever I want, but why? Because my mind all of a sudden locks into the world of the business, and then all of a sudden I dive into myself going, well, why should I write music? And then I put it out so people could say, oh, yay, you're this or you're that. And then now all of a sudden I got to go off another cliff of, I wonder why that is. Another cliff of, I wonder why that is. Before you know it, I need a full military grade parachute to slow my fall down and finally now catch an updraft to kind of bring me up. And funny enough, that's kind of what the book kind of did for me. That was an odd way to say it, but that's what the book kind of did. It kind of brought me at least, oh, okay, I feel normal because I'm going through this. I see that this is what it is that I've done to myself and so on and so forth. And it's nice to know that I wasn't the only one. Now, the last thing I want to say about the book is that this book is a really great listen and journey if you're in any kind of creative world. It doesn't have to be about music. He's a music producer, but anything that requires you to think of, I wonder, and I'm talking about like it could be from music to carpentry, from ceramics to building, a motocross bike or whatever it is, anything that requires you to go, I wonder if, no, that wouldn't work. Nobody's going to like it. Oh, forget. And then all of a sudden, just like that little journey I just went on right there, no, I wonder, nobody's going to like it. Why would it? And all of a sudden you start throwing all these, roadblocks in front of you. But I think the book would be great for people who, once again, I want to just circle around to his very chill way on the audiobook. If you read a book, then it's your own voice, right? And you can do your own theater of the mind. The audiobook, the way he speaks, in the tone that he speaks, and in this kind of like stream of consciousness wisdom that he pulls from his experience, of working not only with his people, but he's also in a constant work with himself. I don't see people as gurus. I see people, even though this book is very well put together, we're always in a constant kind of path of still looking and trying to maneuver things. I'm not a pedestal guy. I don't put people up on pedestals and stuff. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Life's a salad bar, right? And we take what we can and make it work. And I believe that this book should definitely be in your salad bar. If, remember, balancing out this kind of Eastern philosophical vibe in the way he presents it on the audiobook, and then the messaging about getting out of your own way, finding new ways to maybe take something that you've put aside because you think it sucks, and then revisit it, that kind of stuff. So I don't know that this was much of a book review as much as it was, I'm just a schmo. I listened to a book. These are my thoughts. So the link for the book will be down below as well. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. No matter where you are in the world, for me, it's, what time is it right now? It's 9 o'clock in the morning here in Hawaii, right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, having my Kona coffee. But I did pollute it with a little vanilla nut creamer. Ooh, that right there, I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comments. Life is good. I'm still here. Are you still here? All right. See ya.